I appreciate it. So anyway, we want to open in a word of prayer, but I just want to say a huge thank you for coming out and being a part of this, because honestly, it can't happen without you. We're so grateful for everybody that's involved and the influence that you're going to have with the kids. You'd be a crew leader or a station leader assistant or whatever you're doing. You have a huge part in this. You're going to be reaching kids for Jesus. And so I'm so grateful that you're here. Let's open in prayer. Heavenly Father, we are grateful. We thank you for all your grace. We thank you for the goodness that you've given us. And we pray that we'll be contagious with that during this VBS. Father, we thank you for children experiencing Jesus in every aspect of their life, that they get to know you more and more. And Father, thank you for the leaders that you've raised up in this place. I'm asking in the name of Jesus that our hearts will be prepared, that we'll be ready to give of your spirit, of your love, of your grace to the kids in Jesus' name. Freely we have received, so freely we give. And we're grateful for it in Jesus' name. And everybody said, Amen. If you would, feast your eyes up on the screen, because this is what's going to be happening here in just a little bit. Check it out.
All right, well, a little taller than that. Good morning, everybody. Welcome to Stellar 2023 VBS. We are so excited that you guys are here. You're going to be a part of this. Eastman said it already. We're expecting God to do some amazing things. We've got over 330 kids already registered. We still got 2 more weeks to register kids. And we were going through the cruise this last week and noticing a number of kids that we know are coming that just aren't even on the list yet. So we know we believe we're going to get up on 400 kids when it comes all down to it. So we are, I'm a mover, I can't stand here. So we are so excited that you guys are going to be a part of this with us. We're excited about what God's going to do. Last year we had over 170 kids make decisions for Christ. And that was we had 313 registered. And so we're already over that. So we're expecting to see God do even more this year. And you guys are a key part of that. This doesn't happen without volunteers giving up a week, saying, hey, you know what? We know it's summer. There's a lot of other things we can be doing. But we believe in passing on something to the next generation. And so each of us, most of us, I was about to say each, but there's a couple of us that are pretty young in here. Most of us can all look back at VBS as a time that really something pretty key probably happened in our lives. I remember very fondly my times in VBS. I remember the decisions I made, the things I learned. Those were cornerstones for what I'd build later on in my life, and the decisions I would make that would be fundamental and foundational to the man that I became, the family we have started to raise. Like all those things started and were part of it because of volunteers like you at VBS. So we really appreciate it, you guys taking that time. We are excited. God's going to do incredible things. It's going to be a fun week. It's going to be a long week, to be honest, right? It's going to be tiring. By the time I hit Friday, it's like, it's like you're like work. You're like, all right, I've got to build that energy. I've got to choose to be excited because my energy levels are dropping. Even last year, our Energizer bunny, Easton Curtis, right, got to the end of VBS. We were cleaning up. He was like, hey, I've got to go home and take a nap for a minute. I'll come back later and help clean up, but I've got to go crash for an hour or two.
2 days later, I wake up.
Yeah, 2 days later, Easton wakes up, comes out of his hibernation, and he's ready to go again like it never happened. So we are excited. It's going to be a long week. It's going to be a ton of fun, but I'll tell you what, there's nothing for me that's more fun than looking across a room and seeing other people linked up doing the exact same thing, like working together for a reason. I love team sports. My favorite activity, my favorite adventure activity that is whitewater rafting. And there's something about it that I love, getting into a raft, and there's like 5 or 6 other people that we all have one mission. We have to get to the end of this river, and when our guide says row, you had better row in unison. If you don't, you're going to start spinning around in this circle. You're going to hit that rock over there, right? And that might be funny. It's a good time, but like really the purpose is we got to work as a team. We got to work as a unit. We're going to be tired. We're going to be exhausted. We might have some bumps and bruises along the way. But I'll tell you, we got to get to the end, and you're going to do your paddle high five. If you've ever done it, the rafting guide yells out high five. Everybody lifts their paddles up, kind of like in an all-for-one thing. You slap paddles. It's just such a feeling of accomplishment. I get that same feeling. I love doing that when I look across moments and weeks like this where it's VBS, where you walk in, it's 8 o'clock, you had to get yourself out of bed, your alarm went off, and you're tired. But man, I'll tell you what, I look across and there's 200 other volunteers who are making the same decision I am, that are on a team, and we're on one mission. At the end of this week, we're going to see hundreds of kids make decisions to follow Jesus for the rest of their life. And I don't know a better paddle high five than that. I apologize, I'm getting over a little bit of a head cold, so I apologize for my voice. But like, that's just so exciting to me, and that gives me energy. And hopefully, as we go through this week, if you can keep that image in your mind, that'll give you energy too. That's enough for me to get out of bed and go, you know what? We're on our way. I don't know what those kids are going through. We got 300 to 400 kids that are going to be here. I don't know what their lives look like. I don't know what their family situation looks like. I don't know what their school situation looks like. I don't know what voices they have in their life. One thing we learned in student ministry was that our leaders on Wednesday nights, we had students coming that would tell us they went through all of high school, and I had one student at the end of his high school career, he was graduating, and he came back and said, hey, can I stay a couple of extra weeks? And I'm really not supposed to, but I go to college in a couple of weeks. Can I just stay these last couple of weeks? I'll stay with you, I'll be a leader, but this is the only place in my life where anyone has ever given me any sort of positive encouragement. Nobody else ever has told me they believe in me. Right. Nobody else has said these things. And you and my other tribe leaders, this is the one place I've got that, and I'd like to not lose that before I have to. Right? That was our experience there, and we realized that takes place all over. That's you guys. This week, you've got kids. You're going to be a crew leader. You're going to be a station leader, and you've got these hundreds of kids coming through. You might have your 5 kids, and you don't know what their life looks like at home. But you have an opportunity for this week to be a voice that speaks something positive to them, that builds them up, that gives them life, and that will stick with them, right, for the rest of their life. I remember my dad, Pastor Sean, told me one time, people won't remember what you tell them, or what, they won't remember what you tell them, but they'll remember how you make them feel. This week, our culture, what we want to be is that, man, we've got these people come from the community. Some of them are from our church. Some of them are from other churches. We've got another church, Common House, joining with us. We're so excited to have them be a part of our VBS. We've got churches from all over the city that are sending kids here. We've got a number of kids that are unchurched. Their families don't go to church, but they know their parents are sending them here. And if they're going to do that, we want to be good stewards of that. So when they walk in this place, we get the opportunity to decide the culture, decide the environment they're going to walk into. Our decision as a staff, our decision as a church, is that when you walk in here, you're going to feel the love of Jesus like you've never felt before. We're going to be excited. You're not a burden, no matter how difficult you try to make things on me this week, because kids will try to make things difficult. They'll push those boundaries, right? They'll test the fences. If you've watched Jurassic Park, the little raptors, right? They're going to systematically test those fences to figure out where the lines are. You can test them, and I'll tell you what, I'm not going anywhere. I'm going to love you through this week. Right. Guys, frankly, it's a couple hours for 1 week, right? Like, I can do it. I'm just going to choose. It's not even my kids. My kids are it's like a long game, right? I got to figure out how to love you for a long time. These kids, it's 1 week, it's a couple hours in the morning. I've got this. I'm going to love you. I'm going to be gracious. I'm going to be patient, because at the end of this week, you are going to have an opportunity to make a decision. And so we just want to encourage you guys, man, be excited. We're excited. This is going to be incredible. When you show up, even if you're not a morning person, let's find a way. Let's just follow Eastman's lead. I don't know how he does it, but you choose to be excited. You get in here, I fake it till I make it. I'm going to get pumped. If you need some energy drinks or whatever, I'm sure we'll have something here. If you need some orange juice or donuts, we'll get you some orange juice and donuts. Whatever it takes, though, our culture is that we're going to change lives. So, that being said, I just want to offer a couple of encouragements, a couple of thoughts as I get ready to turn it over to Miss Tammy. We've got a VBS team who has done a ton of prep work. I'm so grateful for them. I didn't introduce myself. If you haven't met me, I'm already in. Right? My name is Gabe Yost. I'm our family ministry director here. I have the honor of overseeing our 0 to 18 age groups. honor and a privilege. I love it. It's so exciting that includes this VBS. But we have a VBS team that stepped up to say we're going to really take this by the nose. We're going to put as much effort as we can. And so you've probably met a couple of them, Miss Tammy, Miss Laura. Mandy's over our nursery and preschool. Easton and Josiah over our main events. That team has put in so much time and effort, so much thought, so much prayer. We've got our station leaders who have also over Bible, over Imagination Station. I'm not going to go through them all. You'll hear about them in a little bit. But man, they have dumped time and energy and prayer into this. So you're coming into a system that, man, we are ready to go. That being said, there are things about this that might seem unintentional, but I promise are intentional. They're important and purposeful. One example is that every day you're going to get a card to go home with that has like 5 questions to think about for the next day, to prepare to ask those kids. I'm going to ask you to read those, pray over those, and be ready to ask your kids those the next day. I know it might seem like nothing. It's just like, that's not really that important. I'll figure it out later, or I can maybe think about it tomorrow. Those things build to decision moments in the very end of the week. And when you get to the end of the week, if you haven't been doing that, you'll realize that it's too late, right? It's like, I don't have time to go back and ask those questions each day that are preparing the ground for the gospel presentation they're going to hear, or for the decision moment they're going to get on Friday. So just do those things. They might seem frivolous, they might seem insignificant, but I promise they all build to something that if we can all grab a hold of this, if we can all do this, it will make a difference in your crew. I watch every year, you can tell, and I don't mean this in a judgmental way, I mean this in it just like you can tell the crews that have done those extra things because their crews all seem to come together right at the right moments. The first 2 days are crazy for everybody, right? It's lunacy. It's a fun lunacy, but it's lunacy. Right, and then all of a sudden, a couple of these crews just start meshing. It starts figuring out why. Because they've taken the time. The crew leaders have been praying over them each night. They've been prepping the ground. They've been doing that work. And so then all of a sudden, it just falls into place. And if you haven't been doing that, it's like I'm still trying to herd these cats, and I don't know why it's not quite clicking. God's still going to do good things, but it doesn't go as smooth as it could. And so I want to encourage you, man, take those things. As Miss Tammy goes through the training elements and the things that we're doing, it's important. It's intentional. So would you focus in? Would you hone in and be prepared to do those things as we go through this? A couple of the other things as we come into this. Joe, could you give me water? I appreciate it. As our church has continued to grow, as our VBS has continued to grow, and we just prayed for that. We prayed God send us the people, because if you'll send them, we'll preach the gospel, right? We keep coming to that. How many can we cap VBS up? We keep not being able to cap it because it's like, all right, we'll cap it at 300. And it's like, well, what if that, like, so he's like 301. What if that one extra kid wants to come? It's like, no, I can't tell you about Jesus. Like, we can't quite figure out how to do that. We tried, and I can't. And so it's like, fine, just come on. God, if you'll send them, we'll figure out a way. We'll get creative. We will be flexible. And he continues to test us in that. And we continue to, all right, we're going to do it, and it's going to be fun. As we have done that, though, we've continued to try to make improvements on how we do our VBS. You'll see that in the way we do our stations. We've changed the flow a little bit this year to make adjustments for the growing number of kids. One of the other things we've done is that every leader coming through VBS has to, if you're 18 or over, thank you so much, Joe. Do you mind opening it? No, I don't have it. That's great, thank you. It's one of the few times I can ask him to do things and he can't say no. No, he's great. One of the things we've done this year is every leader that comes through that's 18 years or older must go through a background check. That's been normal for us, but the new thing this year is you also have to go through an abuse prevention training course online. This is not because we think you guys are high-risk people. This isn't because we don't trust you or we think you guys are shady. This is because, like I said earlier, we've got people coming from all over our community to be a part of this. This is one of our ways that we show them we're intentional and we're prepared to take care of your kids. If you're going to drop off your kids, the most important thing in your life, if you're going to trust us with them every morning for this week, and you're just going to leave and you're going to let us preach the gospel to them, then we want you to feel as comfortable as possible. We want you to know we have done the work to make sure your kids are safe, they're taken care of, and they're going to come back to you, and you're going to be better off for having sent your kids here. Right? So this is an exciting thing for us. This isn't a bummer. It's not like, oh, I can't believe we have to go through that. I can't believe I have to watch this. It's a disturbing video at times. It's a bummer that we have to do this in our culture, but for us, this is just another way that we are intentional, right, about setting a culture of excellence, about making sure they know you're safe here. We care. Our church is not a place that's flippant with your kids. We're going to take care of them. And so we're excited about that. It's also a good reminder. There's things in there that's like, oh, I never thought of that. The Bible calls us as Christians to be above reproach. This is a way to be above reproach. No image, no sight, no assumption that there's anything going wrong, any malice going on. And so we're excited about that. So you're going to go through that. It's not very long. You watch a couple of videos, take that quiz at the end, but watch it, learn from it, be on the lookout, and then that'll be a part of what we expect all of our leaders to have done and adhere to for those families coming in, for those kids. We're going to set the kids up for success. Additional information, youth volunteer. If you're a youth volunteer in here, give me a whoop. That was really tough, guys. We're gonna work on the energy level, right? We're gonna build that up. Unless you guys make. That's better, thank you. Well, I think we may be conserving for the paint war in a little while. We got a big day here at church. All right, so youth volunteers. If you are a youth volunteer, you need your agreement signed and returned. We need to have that for you to be able to volunteer with us here at VBS. It's not a long form. It's pretty easy, but make sure you have that. Adults, it's that background check, release form signed and returned, and then also that child abuse training video. If you didn't get that link, please let Laura know. Where's Laura? Laura, can you give us a wave? Woohoo! That's Laura. If you didn't get that link from Laura, you can see her today, or you can email her. That's her email. If you need to take a picture of that, feel free.
Can I make a comment?
Please do.
If you haven't done it, you'll probably get an email tomorrow. I've been trying to send them out every single Sunday because, as Gabe said, this is really important. So I'm trying to send them out weekly for those people who haven't done it. You'll get another one.
Perfect. Yeah, so we're going to harass you with that one. Our whole staff has gone through this, which is important enough to send our whole staff through. And so we're asking all of our volunteers to do that as well. All of our youth volunteers are doing it. Everybody across all of our areas. If you work with kids, this is going to be something we have you do. That's that. That's the additional information. Is there one more slide we have? Yes, there is. One last thing, and these things can kind of seem silly, but again, this goes back to our we're above reproach. We want to do things that make sure there's no ability for someone to walk in and feel like we were in any way not taking care of, any way not honest with what we were doing. And so this is our Redeemer Kids policy reminders. We don't carry children. I know it can be difficult with a bunch of kids that run over, they jump. You want to love on these kids. There's ways to love on them without carrying them. Don't let children sit on your lap. And we don't go into bathrooms alone with a child, right? So there's ways that we have to do this. Miss Tammy will walk you through those. But these are kind of three of our big flags. These are the things that are easy to fall into or easy to just kind of get into the habit of, I always do this. And we're putting these into place to protect you, to protect those kids, and to protect, again, the families coming in that don't go to our church. They don't know you. They don't know how much you love kids. They don't know how great of a person you are. They're just walking in or dropping off their kid and trusting that we're going to take care of them. So to support that, we have these things that we put into place. And so we're excited about it. Man, lastly, again, I just want to reiterate how honored we are that you guys would choose to be a part of it this week with us. It's going to be phenomenal. It's going to be so much fun. Leland, you're going to do a great job, buddy. I am so excited about what God's going to do. It's a fun week. It's a tiring week, but you look at the end of it, and we get those VBS recap videos and the pictures that come up and the stories you have. And each person has stories of a kid and something they said and some connection they made and some moment that they had. That's just special. It's so much fun. It's so worth it. And so that's why we keep coming back to it every week, keep putting more and more into it. And so I'm thrilled that you're going to be a part of it. I'm so grateful for you. I'm grateful for our team. And just expectant of what God's going to do. So with that, you guys, I'm going to turn it over to the incredible Miss Tammy, and she's going to walk you through the rest of our training today.
All right. Thank you.
Yep.
All right. So like you said, who is here for the first time? You haven't volunteered for our VBS. So y'all stand up. Woo! We have new grown-ups. We have new rising sixth graders who have been here as participants. I'm going to beg, too, that we turn that blue light off. It's real bright. Now I can see your faces. All right, so first thing, all our youth, we just talked about youth volunteer form. If you have not filled it out, turned it in, or do not have one, raise your hand. We're going to put a copy in your hand right now and get you to sign it. So Miss Laura will bring that around. You can fill it out. It takes just a couple of seconds. You're going to tear off the last page. That's what you turn in. And then the first two pages are what you're going to look at and remember what it is you've signed up for. Next, I know we ran out of a few copies of these, which is our just the basics of what we're going to go over with everybody here for the next few minutes. If you did not get one of these, we have some more copies. Raise your hand, and Josiah will bring one of those around, and Miss Laura. So while they are doing that, for those of you who have been a part of VBS before here at Redeemer, we're going to do things very similar to the way we have in the past. This first part of our training, we're going to go over some updates, kind of the grand big overview, anything a little bit unique to this year, and then we're going to break off. If you are a crew leader, you're going to stay in here with me for elementary, or a station helper. If you are with Laura's registration team, she's going to take you outside and go over some things, not outside, but out in the sanctuary and go over some registration details. And if you're volunteering with pre-K, you're going to go with Miss Mandy into the kindergarten room. Yes, ma'am, Gloria. I think I know your question. You don't know what you're doing. We also have some sheets in the back. If you did not see the sheet with listing what you are doing, oh, look, Miss Erin has it for you. You can find your name, and then it'll tell you what you're doing. All right? All right, so before I go into a little bit more detail, we have kind of the 30,000-foot view of Group VBS. Group is the publisher that we've used for the last several years, kind of the overview of how they run VBS. It's a lot more dazzling than I will be up here speaking. So we'll watch that. It's about 5 minutes, and then we'll go over some details.
Welcome to VBS. Yep, get ready for a wild and wonderful week. But more than anything, you're going to have fun. Plus, you get the privilege of seeing kids grow in their relationship with God. Over the years, Groups VBS consistently rates #1 in customer satisfaction. Well, that just means you and your peers tell us you're having a great experience with Group. For the next few minutes, we'll outline why we think that is. So we've compiled a few tips from our crew that created and tested this VBS. Over the years, we've learned what will make your experience and your kids' experience the best.
I'm just borrowing his shirt to show.
There's extras in the box.
First, follow the program as it's written. The activities in each leader manual have been tested, tweaked, and retested with real kids and real teachers to make them the best for you. You have our guarantee that these directions are the best way to lead your station. Your station leaders will love our field test findings. These are things we discovered, well, sometimes the hard way, at our field test. They let you know what to do and what not to do. Remember, we've made the mistakes so you don't have to.
Be sure to say the Bible point each day. Each day, everything focuses on one easy-to-remember Bible point. The idea is that kids have one solid, simple Bible truth to take home and put into practice. Hearing you say the Bible point helps kids remember it and understand it. And when kids shout back their response, "Shine, Jesus, light!" you can be sure they're engaged and solidifying the Bible point.
I've come in at the end, so I've heard what the basic message was of that day, and they get it.
Be a great leader by learning and using kids' names. When someone calls you by name in a kind way, you feel that they care. It really is a simple way to make kids feel special. Each day, your goal is to speak each child's name in love. What a powerful and easy way to show God's love. By the way, the small mixed-age crews ensure kids will hear their names in a loving way each day. We've built it into the program.
Next, be sure to participate. You didn't come to VBS to stand around and talk with other adults. Get involved in the games. Sing out loud during sing and play. Get into the Bible adventures. During discussion times, share your own thoughts and insights. When kids hear your own stories of how God has made a difference in your life, we promise that makes an impact on the kids.
Circle up. In most stations, you'll have a time for discussion and sharing. That's the time for your crew to form a small knee-to-knee circle. Wait until your crew members are circled up before beginning the discussion time. Leaders across the country have tried this and found that it really does make a difference. Station leaders encourage crew leaders to make discussion circles before you continue. Make circling up part of the fun. One crew leader always placed their hat in the circle center for everyone to surround. In a crew circle, kids and leaders are focusing on each other. The discussion is lively and everyone is engaged. Take a few extra seconds so you can get face to face with kids in your crew. It really helps.
It's not good enough to just sit in a circle. if you really sit knee to knee and circle up and look in each other's eyes, the whole dynamic changes. It's so much more engaging than everybody just kind of sitting whichever way they want to and pretending to be engaged.
Station leaders, call on crew leaders to lend a hand. If people are talking when you want to give instructions, just say, "Crew leaders, let's make sure everyone can hear these instructions." Or, if you see that kids are distracted with their science-y fun gizmos during Bible adventures, say, "Crew leaders, let's move all of your crew bags and fun stuff to the wall." Remember, each crew leader is responsible for 5 kids. If each one lends a hand, your job is a snap. Listen up. As you can see, there's a lot going on at VBS, so be sure to listen up. Station leaders may need help getting kids to tune in or stop one activity and begin another. So be sure to listen to the station leaders so you can help kids with each activity.
Thanks for giving your time and energy to show kids God's love. You're making a difference in the lives of kids and adults in your community. It's our prayer that you see God transform your church through VBS.
All right, good. Everybody got it? You can go home? Don't say yes. All right, so you may be wondering, what did I sign up for? So for those of you that are crew leaders, we'll go into a little bit more of those details. For the rest of you, let's go over some basics. So number 1, what are you going to wear all week? Some of you have already picked them up, but if you haven't, debuting, we have our crew leader shirts, all of our volunteer shirts this year. So they are in the back. If you signed up after May 1st, right? May 1st, we put in our first order. Second t-shirt order just went in June 1st, so Matt will have those ready for us. They will probably not be out until at least next Wednesday, but probably Sunday before VBS is where you'll be. You'll go into the Ahern Center on the porch. Laura will have them all lined up along with kid shirts. If you are one of our folks and you want to pick up your kid shirt that day, if you have your own children that have registered for VBS, you can pick them up then. You're going to wear that shirt every day. You can wash it every day. You can wash it never, but wear it every day. It'll be fine. It'll be fine. We also, so basic things, shorts, no short shorts, right? No, we just modest. Be comfortable. Tennis shoes are good. You can wear flip-flops, but you need to be in your shirt. That's how we know that everybody here has been background checked, has had, is supposed to be here. We do invite parents in at the end, but this helps us identify this is who we are, and that's who our guests are. When are you going to show up? So that's the big thing. If you have this sheet, we're going to kind of walk through most of those things in that sheet. So first of all, everybody's going to arrive at 8 o'clock. So we're doing 8 o'clock so that we have plenty of time to get ready. Our VBS starts at 9, but as you know, especially day 1, kids and families start arriving early, get registered and all that. So we want to make sure we're ready to go right when they get here. So 8 o'clock, we're going to ask all our volunteers. This year is different, to park in the very back. So when you get here, drive all the way around. If you haven't done it before, you circle the building, and in the back, there's a full parking lot back there. We want you to park in the back because if we have 335 kids, 200 families, we're going to fill up this front lot, even with them just dropping off and picking up in the afternoon. So we want to have plenty of space for them. We're going to go in through the playground doors. So right now you may say, playground? What playground? There's no playground. They have disassembled it. We're getting, I think, a permanent fence this week, so it will be in place. If something happens and that permanent fence isn't installed, we may shift and put us in have you come in the other serve kitchen door. But right now, the plan is you're going to come in that playground door. You're going to go to one of 2 check-in tables. If you are a youth, you're going to stop right by the door. Don Jacobs will be set up there with the youth check-in table. And if you are an adult, you will go directly to the porch as well. There'll be an adult volunteer check-in. Everybody, when you check in, you're going to pick up your daily schedule. That's what you're going to see, what your crew is doing that day. And you're going to pick up your name tag. You're also going to pick up your breakfast ticket. Breakfast ticket? What do I need a breakfast ticket for? So this year, because we're adding a little time on the end and you're coming a few minutes in the morning, we're bringing back a little bit of volunteer breakfast. So Mrs. Fuller, Barbara Fuller, and our Joyfully 60 crew captained by Pastor Eastman and Pastor David, have volunteered to bring in some, let's not say bacon and eggs, but muffins, donuts, that kind of thing. 8 o'clock, they'll be set up in the regular kitchen. So if you don't know where that is, that's just beside the student auditorium. We're doing tickets just so that it keeps you honest. Don't go in there. I have a child who might show up and eat 12 muffins, and then our sweet Erin, who is in there slaving away with Bible, would get nothing. And of the two of them, she needs a muffin more than he does. So that the ticket will be in there. You can get your breakfast item. We'll talk about kind of when you can do that. But that's what you're going to pick up at check-in. The other important thing for our youth, if you are doing volunteer hours, you must put in your time at the youth table with Miss Dawn. They'll have your name, and you just write in 7:55, right? Because you're going to be 5 minutes early. 7:55 is when you show up. That is the only way we'll track volunteer hours. If you don't need hours, if you're not in high school or if you're not in a program where you're tracking volunteer hours and don't need the letter, just write NA, not applicable, the first day, and then we won't be tracking you down. But that way, when we get to the end of the week, Mrs. Levitt will have it all calculated. Eastman will sign all the letters. They'll be ready to go. They'll either be handed out the Wednesday after VBS at youth or mailed directly to you. Good? All right. So once you get signed in, we are going to have a devotion and announcements in the sanctuary every morning at 8:15. So you get signed in, and then we're all going to gather up. So if you're there, 7:55, you write your time down, you're good to go, got your breakfast ticket, go to the bathroom, get your muffin. Meet us in 8:15 in the sanctuary. If you have your own child that is participating in VBS, once you've checked in, go right to the registration table. Mrs. Levitt will have her crew ready to go. You'll get your kids signed in. They are going to gather in the rally room, the student auditorium this year, instead of in here. Preschool is in here, and it was too much to have the volunteer kids and then transition to preschool drop-off. So they're going to be in the rally room. They will have a leader in there. We just ask that you instruct them there to stay in there. They can't be out wandering around. Once we get to 8:45, that leader is going to bring them all over to the sanctuary and deliver them to their crew. Does that make sense? Okay. We'll also talk about pickup in just a minute. If you are a leader with a child that you're dropping off, you're going to get them registered and send them to the rally room. You are also going to go ahead and pick up their pickup card. So we use pickup cards for pickup each day. Most of the parents get them, or all our parents get them when they come in the afternoon. For our volunteers, we want you to go ahead and pick it up in the morning so that you're ready to go. You won't have time to run and get it any other time. Does that make sense? I'm looking for our adults with kids. Okay. Same thing with the nursery. If you have a nursery baby, they're going to go directly to the nursery at that time once you get checked in. All right. Yes. So they also this year, we're not using our automated system like you do on a Sunday or Wednesday. They will be at the registration table. They will get a VBS name tag, and they'll go to the nursery. You'll get a pickup card for them. Oh my gosh, I caught it already. Just kidding. Okay, so once we go in 8:15 to 8:30 will be the devotion and announcements. Then we have to be in your spot at 8:45. So that gives you another 15 minutes. Go to the bathroom, get a drink of water, get your breakfast item if you haven't done that. And then crew leaders need to be in the sanctuary at their crew number at 8:45. All of our registration people will already be at the registration table. Any of our station helpers, you'll work with your station leader. They may have you go up and be doing something early already in the morning, or they may say, nope, come and help with registration to usher children in and help them get to their crew. Okay? All right, so then 8:45, we're in our spot. Kids start arriving. 9 o'clock, we're off and running. So the schedule for the day, 9 o'clock, we have sing and play blast off. So Eastman and Josiah will be leading our blast off. That's where they're going to do songs. That's where they're going to introduce the daily point, the Bible buddies. These are all our daily point and Bible buddies, the verse, and kind of kick off our day. At 9:30, we'll begin our rotation with our different stations. Now, you will notice this year we have added a 6th rotation. We are bringing back motions as a rotation. I know, woohoo! So Mandy Gunning is leading that crew, or that station. So we will be, because of adding the numbers of children to be able to keep our cohorts smaller, or decent, let me not say small, decent, we added that 6 rotation, so that opened up the space. Most of them right now, with our numbers, were between 50 to 60 kids in a cohort. Is that right? Okay, 50 to 60 kids in a cohort. So 1 kid, or 5 kids, 1 leader. So there's between 12 to 14 crews in a cohort. All right. So different stations. We have 2 of our leaders here. Erin Cole, awesome Bible Adventures, is here. And Christy is here for KidVid. Jessica's going to help her. And KidVid is going to be in the Ahern Center this year. If you were around last year, it's where Snack was. We're shifting and putting her there because she totally outgrew the library upstairs. So she's going to be right there. Awesome Bible Adventures will be back in the student auditorium again. And Motions is going to be in the sanctuary. We have Rec will still be outside. And then Imagination Station is going to be back in 208 where they were. Snack, where is Snack going to be? I am excited to tell you that we have blown it up and we are going outside. So we have a tent, we think, coming, possibly with some air conditioning, but we are going to be outside right next to Rec this year. So we'll be out there hanging out, lots of fun snacks, plenty of sugar. Not a vegetable on the list, just in case you are worried. If you have your own child, pack a vegetable. There will be none at Galactic Snacks. And then we also have, I'm super excited, we have a potty truck coming. So with 335 kids, 80 crew leaders, and about 50 to 75 other volunteers, we needed a few more bathrooms. So we have one of the super fancy portable trucks coming, 4 stalls. There's air conditioning in that. I have no doubt that I will be finding my own snack helper that I gave birth to huddled up in the air conditioning in the potty truck. But it will be outside. You can use it between Rec, Snack, Bible. Those will all kind of go in a circle there. And then the other rotations you'll pass, obviously all the inside bathrooms will be available as well. But I'm excited. Individual, he's coming every day. It's going to be fantastic. And it'll be around for Family Fun Day. All right, so after you make your rotation, all 6 stations, 25 minutes each, 5-minute travel time, you'll end up back in Cosmic Closing. So Cosmic Closing, just like they said, wrap up. There's a spotlight video that'll play each day. Eastman and Josiah have these really, really fun kind of sciencey experiments they're going to do. And then we'll wrap up with some points. The day will be point. We'll talk about God sightings. And then it'll be time for dismissal. Now, we do invite the parents to come and participate or to watch our Cosmic Closing. So the way that works, all of us, I forgot something else important. 335 kids, 80 crew leaders, we're out of chairs. So we are moving all of the chairs in the sanctuary, and our crews are going to be seated in 5-foot square boxes, taped marks on the floor. All right? So it'll be imagine a mosh pit, if you will. It's going to be fantastic. Yes, totally, right? There's only a certain age group in here that laughed at my joke. So, yes, may or may not. So it will be to get this space in. So again, 5 feet isn't enough that you're spread out, but it is enough that you could have the 5 kids and yourself standing when we're standing and singing and worshiping. When it's time to sit and listen, you can sit. You can circle up right there, or if you want to sit and be able to face the front. So with all of us in there, we will leave about 150 chairs in the back for our parents when they come in for Cosmic Closing. That said, Sunday afternoon, June 11th, we have to move 400 chairs out of the sanctuary and transport them to the back. So if you are available, we will take all hands on deck to kind of get those stacked up and moved out. Same thing after we're all done with the week, we could use help getting them back. All right, so Cosmic Closing, parents are going to come back in. When you sign up your child, you say who can pick them up. So if you want to say, only I, Tammy McConnell, can pick up my kid, that's what you say. If you want to list 10 people that can pick up your kid, it's already listed at registration. Mrs. Levitt and her team have that on their sheet. So whoever is listed as a pickup person, when they come back, they say, I'm Tammy McConnell. You show your ID. They'll show their ID. She gives them a card. It's a 3x, I think you even gave me a sample. She gives them a pickup card that looks like this. Has the child's name and their crew number and the person that's able to pick them up. So she's going to hand this off. and invite me, the parent, to go sit in cosmic closing. Now, I can't go get my kid until it's over. Closing will start at 12:30. Parents can come in, they can sit or stand in the back. They can hang out until it is done. Pastor Eastman will do the ending. All right, that's it. Crew leaders gather up. We want to give out our daily announcements. We're going to give out our gizmos. Parents, you can come pick up your kids. Who do I have? I have Adam Escalante, and he's in Crew 58. So I'm going to take my card. I'm going to go to the crew leader of Crew 58, and I'm going to say, I need Adam. You take the card. That's all you have to do. You don't have to check an ID. If they have a card with his name on it, you take the card, and you say, here's Adam. We had a great time. We'll see you tomorrow. Okay? You keep the card as the crew leader. Mom or dad or whoever picked up takes the kid, and they're done. Believe it or not, it's about 7 to 12 minutes to exit. Last year we were at 312, and it never took more than 15 minutes. So it works pretty efficiently. Most of the parents, since we've done it a couple years this way, are used to it. So they will hand that off. The crew leader will then take this card. When you turn in your name tag, you're going to turn in the cards. Okay? We do not want Mrs. Lovett to have to reprint these cards every night. You do not want her to come and find you and say, where are your pickup cards? So help her out. Make sure when you turn in your name tag, turn in your pickup cards. She sorts them, re-alphabetizes them, and gets them ready for the next day. I know. It's amazing. So don't lose them. Don't make her have to do an extra step. Okay, so the other key point that's different this year is pre-K. So pre-K, our 4-year-olds are going to be right in here. It is space, place is what they are doing. So they will have their VBS rotation sort of all happen within this space in kindergarten. They are going to get dropped off right in this room. So if you have a 4-year-old that is in the pre-K space place, they get checked in. Mom or dad brings them in here to this place. Once they are all settled, Miss Mandy will gather her team, and they will bring them over to join us in the blast-off, in the opening session. They'll hang out with us, and then we'll let them exit first. They come back here. The rest of the elementary crews then begin their rotations. Big difference, pre-K is being picked up at 12:30. All the other elementary kids do not get dismissed until 1, but we decided that 12:30 was about the cap for those little guys, right? Most of them are still nappers. It's just a long day for them. So mom and dad need to come right back in here. A pickup person come right back in here, pick up your pre-K 4 at 12:30. Now, if they have an elementary student or if they want to bring the pre-K right across the way and join us for the closing, absolutely. They'll come, they'll sit or stand in the back, enjoy the closing, and either exit or then pick up their other elementary kids. Does that make sense? Any questions about that? Yes, ma'am.
There is one change this year. If you were here with us last year, the parent information half sheets of paper. Do you have an example? Mm-hmm. Okay. The half sheet of paper, we, if you were a crew leader with us last year, we handed these to all the crew leaders in the morning. Like when you got your ID, you got your daily schedule. We're changing that. So when you come back for cosmic closing at...
When is cosmic closing? This is a test.
At 12:30, there will be registration people outside of the sanctuary, and they will have sets of these in 5. And they're going to be looking for the crew leaders. And they're going to try to snag you and hand you each a set of 5. We are hoping that by giving them to you at 12:30, they won't get lost in a backpack or forgotten about. You'll have them in your hand. So that way we are hoping more of them make it to the parents' hands. Last year, when we cleaned out backpacks,
there were a few.
So when you walk into the sanctuary, look for my team to be handing these out and make sure you get your set of 5 so that you can hand it to the parents when they come to pick up the kids.
Excellent. And so here's the deal with that. So if you are a kid, I want to tune you into the parent's perspective for just a minute. So you send your kid in for 4 hours, and they come out, and they're telling you all about it. Well, they are 7 years old. And they are not telling you a story in a very sequential order and you understand, oh, you went here, you did this, you ate this, you talked to this person. They get snippets of all sorts of highlights. And so you're going, wow, they had an amazing time, but I have no clue what really happened. So part of what happens with this announcement, we also send some letters and different things home. It gives them the heads up. Hey, this is the Bible point that we talked about today. This is the snack we're having tomorrow if you have any allergies. This is what you need to make sure you remember about pickup or family fun day in the future. So that's just kind of the cute in. It's not just, oh, cute. So it is a little bit more detailed as far as why it's going home with the kids. All right, so timing, we already heard 12:30 is cosmic closing, 1 o'clock is pickup. So Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, by 1:15, you're good. You should have all your kids delivered, crews and station helpers. You're all ready, everybody's set and gone. Building is dark, we're headed out. Drop off your name tag, drop off your parent pickup cards, and out the door we go. So Thursday and Friday are a little bit different. So we're always arriving at 8. Thursday, you need to plan to stay until 2. Now, I will tell you, if you are a middle school or somebody that's not driving and you're going to tell your ride to be here, they can be here a little early. But plan to be here until 2, but just know we're probably going to go a little early. On Thursday, a couple of things happen. We do these follow-up photo frames. If you remember from last year, we gather up your crew and we take a picture of them on Tuesday. And then by Thursday, Mrs. Levitt and her team have all those pictures printed and cards for each of your crew members. Now, we learned year 1 that most of our volunteers do not quite understand how to or like to address things. So she has made labels. You do not have to write an address. You just have to write a note. So she'll have the child's label and she'll have a return address label. Your responsibility, when you get these, you'll put the pictures in. She may even do that for you this year. You get it? You get the picture in. It's you and 5 kids, right? So you have 5 in your crew, or you and 4 if your crew only had 4. You and your kids. You look on the front. Well, this is, who was my little example? Adam, right? Adam. This is addressed to Adam. So on the inside, there's a little box. You're going to write, Adam, had so much fun with you at Stellar VBS. Keep making people laugh. Okay? So whatever your little note to him is, seal it up, and we're ready to go. So again, we finish at 1:15. Kids are gone by 1:15. We do all these. It should not take us 45 minutes. But in the past, there have been some hiccups, so I want to make sure we have plenty of time to do it. But once yours are done, we'll collect them and you're good to go on Thursday. Any questions about that specifically? All right, Friday is way different. What happens on Friday? Family Fun Day. I'm going to need y'all to be a little more excited by the time we get to Friday. All right, so Family Fun Day, again, more kids, more families, more fun. We are shortening our VBS day by 5 minutes per rotation to shave off a whole 30 minutes. So on Friday, Cosmic Closing will start at 12. Pickup will be at 12:30. The fun, food, and festivities will start right at 12:30. Does that make sense? So our parents, we want to make sure the parents are back. Parents either pick up at 12:30 or they come pick up and participate in Family Fun Day. We do not keep the kids and entertain them during Family Fun Day. Pickup is still 12:30. So the kids will get picked up. We want to encourage all of our crew leaders. You guys will go out and participate. All the station helpers, all of our awesome registration. You've interacted with these kids and volunteers or kids and parents all week. We want you to go out and have fun with them. We want you to eat and bounce and do all the fun things. So that will go until 2, and then we will be from 2 to 3 cleaning up. So at 2, it'll sort of wind down. We'll send all of our families out, and then you'll be looking for jobs. So again, those chairs have to go back. All the stations have to be torn down, put back, and then all the church needs to be reset for Sunday. So with 80 to 120 volunteers, it should go pretty quick with all of us. Jump in, find a job. All right? Questions about when do you get here? Where do you park? In the back. What time do you arrive? 8. What do you wear? T-shirt. Comfortable clothes. No short shorts. Thank you. No short skirts. Correct. You can wear a skirt, just not short skirt. I didn't hear where that came from, but yes. All right. So last thing before we break off into our groups, we have Jessica is not with us this morning, but Jessica Yulin has come on sort of as our event coordinator for the week. So because I'm going to be in snack, and Mrs. Lovett is going to be at registration. Sometimes there's things that pop up that we have questions or things that need to be handled. So Jessica is going to be on site to make sure that during the opening and closing, Eastman and Josiah have everything they need. During the rotation, she'll check in with the station leaders, and then anything that pops up. But she is an elementary teacher, and she had the brilliant question and then the solution for what do we do if there's an emergency. So during VBS, if we were to have a fire or other need to evacuate the building, we needed a plan. And so I'm going to go over briefly what that plan is. We are not doing a fire drill during VBS. I kept calling it a fire drill, and my kids were like, that's nuts. We're not doing a drill. So if we call it, it's real. So if you have been a part of a school or program that's run a fire drill before in the last probably decade, you will be very familiar with the process. So because we're going to be moving from place to place within the building, if the fire alarm were to go off at your school, who is the one that would tell you what to do? Your teacher. So we're going to run that the same way. If we were to say, hey, we need to evacuate the building, you're going to look to your station leaders who will have information that will tell you, okay, that we need to head out. Every station will have a designated door that they're going to exit and place that group is going to line up. So if, say, for instance, you're in Bible Adventures and something happens and they come in and say, hey, we've got a situation. Miss Erin would say, okay, crew leaders, we need to evacuate, leave your things, everybody gather at the tree line, and that's mostly where they're going to be. They're going to be the tree lines around the parking lot. Gather at the tree line on the right as you walk out. So you're going to gather your crew. Very important at that point that you don't grab everybody else's crew. Crew leaders, your crew. You had 4 that day, 1, 2, 3, 4, out the door you go. Okay? Same thing, if you have somebody else's crew, you want to make sure that your crew leader is aware. So it's good communication. So you get out to the parking lot, you stand where you're supposed to be. In your crew backpacks, you're going to have 2 cards. So if you're crew number 1, you have a 1 green and a 1 red. 1 green says, yep, I had 4 when I started the day. I've got 1, 2, 3, 4. We're good to go. Red, I need help. I had 4. Now I have 3. I need somebody, I'm missing Adam. So our administrators, so Eastman and Josiah and Gabe and Jessica, each have a designated spot that they're going to come, and they're going to look. They're going to look for all these. Okay, this should be crews 1 through 14. I see 13 greens, and I see 1 red. So they're going to go and say, what do we need? They've got walkies. They can figure out, oh, yep, Adam found his mom, and he went to the other side with her. All right, does that make sense? Yeah. Any questions about that? The other important thing, if you've been around with our rotations, we have an upstair. When you go up to Imagination Station, you use the stairs on the left. When you come down, you always use the stair on the right. There's signs. It's all very clear. In the case of an emergency, all stairs go down and out. Okay, so don't worry about those signs. If we say leave the building, you can use both sets of stairs. All right, that is the main part of everything that we need to know for the big group, unless there's questions. All right, so now we're going to break up. If you are going to be helping in pre-K, Mandy is ready for you, and you can get up and head to the back. There were donut holes, too, on the table if you want to snag a donut hole on your way. And head with her on over to pre-K. If you are going to be with Mrs. Lovett in registration, you can gather up with her and head over to the sanctuary. If you're headed out, you're welcome to grab your t-shirt off the table. And then for those of you left behind, you are either a crew leader, elementary crew leader, or station leader. So if you did not pick up one of these packets, if you'll raise your hand, we'll get one of those in your hands. Whoa. There are no bathroom breaks. I'm just kidding. There are no accidents. Please go. If you thought I was weird about the microphone, you better see if, just kidding. Okay, so crew leaders, awesome crew leaders. How many of you have been a crew leader before? Raise your hand. All right, I love it. So as we go through this, as I'm sharing things, please, please, please feel free to interject, add your information, say, hey, here's what's going on, here's what worked, here's what didn't work. Or if I'm like, this is the example, and you're like, it never works that way, we can talk about that as well. But before we get all the way going, because we've been sitting for about half an hour, when you get into cosmic closing or the stellar blast off, we always have songs, and the songs always have motions, right? So this year you're going to be learning them a little bit all the way along with Miss Mandy in motions, but we thought we'd try our very first one. I think this is actually our theme song. So we're going to do that. I want everybody to stand up, and we're going to get started and see if we can't learn our very first one.
Do you have any more of the tags, the crew leader tags?
Upstairs?
Lanyards? Yeah.
Oh, yes.
They're out.
Yes.
Also, does the lamination machine, does that like pause if it's overheated? It stopped running.
It made me need to turn off for a second. Shouldn't be shoved in if that's a problem. It has to go on its own. There's a bucket in Pastor Eastman's office from last year. It says monumental. That's where the tag should be.
Bucket.
It's a round pin.
Monumental. How much longer is this training going to take?
30 minutes.
I bet you're going to cut it down to an hour instead of an hour and a half. Or 2 hours, basically.
No, it is cutting short. All right, I'm so impressed on a Saturday morning. Thanks, guys. All right, so we are going to run through some details for being a crew leader. So first thing we talked about, you're going to come in and you're going to be parked on the floor in a crew number. So when are you going to find out what crew you are in? On Sunday night, Sunday afternoon, June 11th, you'll get an email from Mrs. Lovett that'll give you your crew number. So that'll allow you to see, okay, I'm going to be in crew 24. You're going to see everybody, so it'll list all the crew leaders and all the crew numbers. That way you'll also kind of see the different cohorts. So on Sunday night, you'll be able to see who the other crew leaders that you're going to be working with in your cohort, but you will not know your crew kids until you show up on Monday, okay? So you'll get your crew leader assignment. You'll know what number you are. So Monday morning, you come in, you check in, you get your name tag, get your daily schedule, and then you also get your breakfast ticket. You'll go directly to your spot. When you go in for the meeting, you can go right on in, sit in your spot, or you can just go check your bag. Your crew bag is going to be there. So if you're crew number 12, you're going to go to spot number 12 on the floor. Crew bag 12 will be there. Inside your bag is going to be your crew list. Okay, so that's a little different. You're not going to pick that up at the table. Inside your bag, you're going to find your crew list with all your kids in it. Now, once they start arriving, you're going to take a look at the list and see, you know, I'm Adam. Well, great. Welcome, Adam. You're so excited. Well, I'm John. I don't have John on my list. So at that point, we can flag down Jessica or one of the other extra admins hanging around and say, hey, we just need to square this away. Sometimes it was a 12 and 21. It got mixed up. Sometimes it's just a little glitch. Promise you, if you send them right back out to registration, Mrs. Laura will handle it. Okay, does that make sense? So if they're not on your list and they show up anyway, we want to send them back that way to make sure we get it squared away. Don't just, oh, it's fine, we'll take them, and then now you're at 6 and not 5. Okay? All right, So you have your crew bag. That is going to be it'll have your number on it too. It will be yours for the week. So the good thing is things that you collect will go in the bag. You should wear it. You can get one of your kids to wear it. But hang on to it. It'll have good stuff in it. You'll have a few supplies like markers, flashlights this year. Super excited. It's stellar. There's a lot of glowing and flashlights. Please do not burn anyone's eyes out as we're playing with the flashlight. I'm like, we're just going to put them in there and we're going to trust that they're going to be there when you need them. So that'll be in there as well. Next up, participate. So we have a few key tips on how to make the week go. Gabe talked about it. That's the biggest thing, right? Even if you don't know all the moves, if you don't know all the words, if you are getting into it and having a good time, they're going to follow right along with you. So participate, ask questions of them during the time that we're talking about questions. When Pastor Eastman will say, hey, share something about this. Share something with them and get them to share. The other thing, lavish attention on the kids. What's a good way to do that? What's a good way you can give kids good attention? Yes. Call them by their names. That's the number one answer. Should have had my Family Feud board. Call them by their name. You would be shocked just how important it is just to use their name. That's fantastic. Same way, and then you get to know them. You can ask them questions about where they live, where they're from. So we also need to know, well, who are these kids? So we've talked about mixed age crews. We heard about it in the video. So if you are a kindergarten crew leader, we do have just kindergartners. If you are so that is I definitely need Miss Laura, but I think that's the asteroid. So asteroids is our first little group, 1 through 14, kindergarten. The rest of the crews are elementary mixed age. So I need 6 volunteers. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Y'all come on up here. Stand in a line right here in front of me. Line up right there. I'll try not to trip you. All right, keep scooting down. All right, so who are these kids that are going to be in our crew? You are the kindergartner. So I want you to tell us, if you are a kindergartner, you're going to read right there, what is all about you?
I'm unique and important part of my crew because I love to help my crew leader. I'm proud of things I can do, but I'm also sensitive. I'm improving my coordination.
That sounds like you. Are you sensitive? Are you improving your coordination? Yes. Yes. Does that mean you can cut with scissors?
Yes.
Yes. Does it mean you're probably not great with stickers? Yes. Thank you. You did great. So, kindergartners. All right, now you are going into first grade. It's also very important here at Redeemer. We are the grade they are going into, not what they completed. So our kindergartner who's doing all those things, he was in VPK like 10 minutes ago. So he is going to kindergarten. Oh, that is like, why didn't I have you do that one, Logan? I'm so excited you're here. All right, so now we're going into first grade.
I'm an unique and important part of my crew because I have a great imagination. I can help my crew dive into each Bible adventure.
Excellent. Does that sound like a first grader you might know? Yeah. All right, thanks. Woohoo! All right, now you guys are going into second grade. That feels like forever away. All right, so tell me, second grade.
I'm a unique and important part of my crew because I like to be the best. I can help encourage my crew to be the best it can be. I will love trying all the stellar games.
Yes, right? Our second graders get super excited. Thank you. They get super excited about all the games. They are probably the easiest to entertain here at VBS because they can do stuff, but they're also not maybe too cool for school like some of our folks down there on the end. All right, now you're going to third grade. I'm not saying you're not cool, but what can you do?
I'm a unique, important part of my crew because I want everything to be fair. I can help make sure we all take turns and treat one another fairly.
Yes. Does that sound like one of your third graders you might know very well or had known very well?
Sounds like my 4-year-old, actually.
It does sound like he's, yeah. All right, thanks. But yes, so that's our third graders. Now fourth graders, we're getting older. Yeah. Here we go.
I am a unique and important part of my crew because I like to be challenged. I can help younger members of my crew with challenging projects.
Oh, I like that. Helpers. Like to help. Thank you. All right, big stuff. This ought to be very familiar because it's like just a minute ago for you. You ready? Rising fifth graders.
I'm going into 5th grade. I'm a unique and important part of my crew because I like to ask questions. I can help my crew ask questions to make sure we understand what we are learning.
Excellent. Does that sound like you a little while ago? You were always good with questions. You were. You wanted to make sure we understood what was going on. Okay, so everybody got it? You completely developmentally appropriate for all the kids in your crew? You got it? No review needed? Okay, so we ran through it. Great, move on. But when you get your assignment on Monday and you look down and you think, I have 2 first graders, I have a 3rd grader, and a 5th grader. When you go home, remember Gabe said we really want you taking a look at these ahead of time now and each night. Pull this back out. Look at that again. Now, it's not absolute, right? There's exceptions to every rule. Look at it again and get a clue in, okay, how can you engage this 1st grader? How can you help this 4th grader who's in a crew with a 2nd and 3rd grader? How are they going to benefit from it? If you task them to say, hey, we want you to be a leader, or, hey, we want you to, can you help our younger kid, get his stickers put on the wall when they go up to Imagination Station, those kinds of things. So that'll help a lot. All right, so you know who's in your crew. You know you're going to participate. You're going to call them by name. You're going to get to know them. You're going to help your station leaders. So as you're rotating to each station, your station leaders have various activities and things that they're going to be handing out. So sometimes you're going to have to just gather your crew back up. Sometimes you're going to have to tell them, I think they use it on the video, okay, let's put those fun gizmos away so we can really focus on what we're talking about. Okay, so crew backpack's a great spot for that. Be positive, right? It is going to be hot. It is probably going to rain one day. It is going to be lots of things that we could complain about, but put a positive spin on it, and nobody does it better than Pastor Eastman, right? He can be in the worst of circumstances, and he's going to tell you how excited he is about something in the middle of it, and it changes things. And so if they see you doing that, they're going to catch on with that, right? So just stay positive. Wednesday is probably the hardest day to do that, so we want to make sure that keep that energy up, make sure you're ready to go, and we'll help you through it as much as we can. All right, so what are we going to do at each station? So if you remember last year, when you go into a station, they have the attention-getting signals, right? Do you remember that? It was like a rattler last year. Well, are you ready for this year's?
Bring it.
I could not be more excited. You're going to love it. Are you ready?
Ready. I'm ready.
Not that it's a competition, but who thinks Snack is going to use it a lot more than any other station? It's my favorite. So all the station leaders will have that. So when you hear it, Pastor Eastman will use it in opening, closing. It's a great way, okay, get their attention. Let's get them focused, right? Super excited. For my station leaders, it's really weird. I had to watch the video on how to use it. There's a hole in the side. You blow into it, and it comes out. It's the strangest thing. There is a lanyard, too. You can wear it. Already gave Praisey hers. She's all about it. All right, so let's talk a little bit about what you're going to be doing in each station. So when you go into KidVid is the station that you, did I put them in order, Chloe? I'm so sorry. Excellent. KidVid, when you go into KidVid, this is where they're going to hear a connecting video or point to the daily Bible point. So when life feels dark, shine Jesus' light. So they're going to see an example of a kid who experienced something and how he was able to feel Jesus' light or shine Jesus' light through that. So there's lots of discussion time in KidVid. Christy and Jessica will go through, they'll have daily or questions that they talk about, points that they want you to think about. It's a great time to really get those kids to talk. You may have some that talk and answer every question. That's great. Listen to them, but also make sure you're looking for those that maybe don't share. Maybe you've realized have been real quiet. See if you can engage with them and get them to share as well. It is also where you will get your Bible Buddy. So this year, our very spacey bag, Bible Buddies. So they're the little figures that you'll get each day. They have the Bible verse on the bottom. And for those of you under 40, you can actually read it. So this will be handed out along with the bag. So our star is our very first day on Monday, and the bag. So Christy and Jessica and their crew will help hand out these. You're going to take the bag and the Sharpie in your backpack and write everybody's name on it. So you're going to put Adam's name on one, or whoever you have, put their name on each of their bags. And then she'll go over the buddy, talk about the Bible verse. Then you're going to take the buddy and put it in the bag. Cinch it up, and then everybody's bag goes in the crew backpack. Okay, there may be times during the day where if they want to get them out, or you have a minute in between, you can get them out and talk, have them get them out. But if it's time to put them away, put them in the backpacks, and you keep that all week. We do not send that home every day. We want them in the backpack, and then they go home on Friday. Does that make sense? All right. They just came in. I didn't bring them up, but the awesome Watch for God wristbands. You will also get that in KidVid. We have one for every crew member and every crew leader. Okay? So they will be given out in KidVid, and then we talk about God sightings. Who remembers God sightings from the last couple years? All right. Do you remember how they work? Do you remember what we do with them?
It was basically like whatever the idea was for the beginning, like what Eastman would say at the beginning, we would just say like, do you have something that was like similar to what, like do you have something in your life that you said similar to what? Like I remember last year was like, I forget what one of them was, but basically like in your life, have you seen God do this thing in your life? So it's like an actual sighting in your life.
Yes, and like specific for each day. So like I think Monday or Tuesday he talks about, I'm very impressed, Kyle, I really am. Where is somewhere you see God at work or God's love in creation? And so you're going to talk about that. You have an opportunity to talk about it in opening or closing. You talk about it in KidVid. You talk about it throughout the day. Now we also had the option to attach it. Remember last year I think there was a flower that you put up on the stage. In years past there was something else. So it's always been a little fuzzy. So Eastman and Josiah, can you hand these out for us right quick? We are going to do a little practice. So you get the bracelet in KidVid, but when you come into, you have some.
I do. I have a couple. I don't have a lot.
All right, there's those.
Everybody gets one?
Everybody gets one because everybody's going to practice. So what will happen, you'll get the bracelet. That's to remind you to talk about them all day long. When you it's usually in closing, I believe. Some days we may do it in opening. But Pastor Eastman will direct that from the front, and he will say, let's talk about a God sighting. Let's talk about something where you see God at work in creation. And he'll give you an example. Then he'll say, crew leaders, talk about God sightings with your crew for a few minutes. So right then, you're going to talk about God sightings with your crew. Each day, you will then find and pull out of your backpack, it will not be a plain white square, it will be a shiny gold star with a hole punched in it. You're going to pull that star out, and as they talk about different God sightings, you can write them down. You can write down one, you can write down everybody's, front and back. Once you have done that, Eastman will say, raise your hand, you raise your hand, and then he'll come around like he does, and he'll have you share a couple of them. Then we will play, I don't remember which song it is, but they will play this song that we're going to all worship to. And we want every crew leader to take that card, hold your cards up, it'll look like a star, but that card, and attach it to the front. So what we are doing this year is there will be 2 sets of these. This will actually be on it. 2 sets of twinkle lights. Each light is 1/8 inch thick, and each hole that you have is 1/8 inch thick. It just worked out. So we're going to practice because it is a little bit tricky to kind of attach it. But what will happen is the music will start. Crew leaders, please don't let your crew do it. Crew's going to sit right there. Crew leaders are going to take that card with everybody's God sightings, and you're going to walk up and attach it to any bulb. Gloria, do you have a question? Yes.
What do the helpers and the stations do while everything is coming out?
So opening and closing for the station helpers, generally you usually take a few minutes to help your station leader get cleaned up, and then you come and join the closing, and you can participate and sing the songs and hang out in the back. Sometimes Mrs. Levitt will grab you to help parents find their crew numbers. So like Adam's mom who's looking for crew 58, you can help show her to where that is at pickup. All right, so a little traveling music. We're all going to get up and see if you can attach it to the little light bulb. All right. All right. Okay, so not terrible, right? So if they rip, if something happens, it's okay. We could sort of just lay it gently. These are going to be on the stage to the left and to the right of the main stage decorations. So, and all the twinkle lights will be down. So there should be plenty. But as we go through, if there's 80 crews times 5 days, that's 400 twinkling stars that will be added throughout the week. So we are going to hopefully divide up in twos, so 40 on one side, 40 on the other. It'll be plenty of space. Get up there, put them on. And the song is about 1 minute and 50 seconds, so you have plenty of time to add it on. Any questions, any thoughts, any comments, please don't make me do that. All right. And then by the end of the week, they'll all stay up all week. Then by the end of the week, we should all have them all sparkling and twinkling, and parents can kind of come up and look and see the different God sightings. All right, so rec games, we all know Ben is amazing. He and his crew will be out there. There will be lots of water. It's Florida. He has water guns. We may even have like a rocket sprinkler that's out there. So just be prepared. You'll be getting a little damp during the day. The kids will be getting wet. Usually they love it. And then we'll come in, we'll get them fed in snacks. Same way, as you go through, Ben will have questions that coordinate with the rec games that you played. Snack, we'll work on Bible verse, Bible point, and then you have time to talk with your crew. Awesome Bible adventures. Miss Erin will be going through all of the different Bible stories. Now, it is Vacation Bible School, so we want you to be prepared. So as you look at the back of your crew packet, there's every day's Bible story. So you can look at it ahead of time, but I really, really encourage you each night before. So Sunday night, get this out. Look at day 1. You're going to see the information, but it's going to also tell you what story she's going over. So when life feels dark, shine Jesus' light. Read through the story, read through the questions, so that as you come in and she begins to talk about the story and illustrate things, if kids have questions, you can kind of help walk and guide, and your heart's prepared for that as well. All right? I know you're out of school. Nobody's excited about reading, but you'll be glad you did. Now, in Bible, on Thursday, Pastor Eastman will come in and present the gospel, and the children will be given a chance to respond, an opportunity to respond on Thursday. Now, obviously, all throughout the week, you can be talking to them and discussing things with them. But on Thursday, what we're going to do is if any child makes a decision, and Pastor Eastman, a couple weeks ago, if you were here, if you hadn't heard him done it in VBS, or if you didn't hear him preach, he is so clear. He presents the gospel very clearly, and then he asks them to make a decision. And it's very clear what decision they would want to make, and then how they indicate that they made a decision. So Thursday in Bible, this is happening. If you have one of your crew members that indicate that they made a decision for Christ, we want you to circle their name on your crew sheet. That day you'll have a fresh crew list, and you're just going to circle. So if Adam raises his hand and says, yes, I did that today, Pastor Eastman, we want you to take that sheet, circle Adam's name. Then on your way out of Bible that day, you're going to take that crew sheet and you're going to hand it to one of Miss Aaron's awesome Bible helpers, and Mrs. Levitt is going to collect that at the end of each rotation that day. Okay, so if you have a kid make a decision, what are you going to do? Circle their name. What are you going to do with that sheet? Give it to Miss Aaron or give it to one of her helpers. The reason we're doing that, number one, we want to know, and the parents want to know. Remember we talked about those parents who are home thinking, wow, they're having a great time. Sure wonder what happened today. So what will happen with that sheet? Mrs. Levitt has already prepared with Pastor Eastman a letter that explains, hey, here's what happened. Here's the decision that your child made today. Here are a little bit more information about any questions you have. Here's who you can contact. Also, hey, we're doing baptisms this summer. If your child wants to go ahead and follow and be baptized, here's when that date is. They are also going to get a Notes from Jesus book. So we have those books prepared. What will happen is that letter, Mrs. Levitt will go out there, that name that you circled, she'll put a label on an envelope with that letter. She will tuck it into a Bible book. When you get to your spot in the sanctuary, by your crew bag will be however many books you need for however many kids made a decision. It'll have their name on it. Your job at that point when they go home that day, if Adam has his book with his label, you hand him the book and the letter. And however many you have, you just hand out to those kids. Does that make sense? Yes, ma'am.
That all sounded great. The Bibles, I think we usually do that day too.
Yes.
So that may affect the crew leaders, because I think we give them the Bibles in Bible.
During the time, right? During Bible. So we've also had some amazing contributions for the books themselves. People have donated the books. And then we've also had a big donation come in for more Bibles. So if you identify any kid that doesn't have a Bible, now they are the awesome adventure Bibles that we have here. So we're not talking kids that, I don't have that Bible, but I have these other 4. It really is, if they don't have a Bible of their own that they can read and look at God's Word, then you identify them as a crew leader, and then you let Miss Aaron and her crew know, and they will be stacked up in the back of the room, and they will help hand them out on that Thursday. Okay? And then we've also, yes, and the backpack, which by that point, hopefully the strings have not broken. So any questions about Thursday? That's kind of a big deal, a lot there. All right. So then did I miss the station? Oh, Imagination Station. So 208, Praisey and Mrs. Davis are going to be helping with that this year. So that is where they do their Sciencey Fun Gizmo. They usually have a question. Remember, you do a survey question, so help your kids with those. If you are not good with crafts, if you are not good with things, that is okay. Ask one of your 4th or 5th graders who probably loves it and would get a kick out of helping their crew leader or other crew members. So you're going to do that Sciencey Fun Gizmo every day. You're also going to get a baggie, and that little Ziploc baggie has a Try This at Home sticker for those parents, remember, that are at home wondering what'd you do all day. The gizmo, when you're done with it in Imagination Station, you're going to put the gizmo in the baggie, write the kid's name on it with that Sharpie that's in your backpack, and zip it up and put it in the backpack. When they go home every day, they're going to get their gizmo. So that gizmo goes home with them. It also has on the sticker, hey, here's what we did with this. Here's why you're getting this piece of what may look like trash. This is very good to help illustrate our Bible point. All right, so that's going to go home with them along with announcement every day. Bible buddies, when do they go home? Friday. All right, we are close to landing the plane. So then we come back to closing. We already went over pickup. Does anybody have any questions about parent pickup?
What do you do in motions?
Motions. You sit very still and you don't move. Not really. So there are 9 songs on the VBS track this year. So every one of them has motions that goes along with it. So Mandy and her team, Mrs. Gunning and her things, if kids have questions, you can kind of help walk and guide, and your heart's prepared for that as well. All right? I know you're out of school. Nobody's excited about reading, but you'll be glad you did. Now, in Bible, on Thursday, Pastor Eastman will come in and present the gospel, and the children will be given a chance to respond, an opportunity to respond on Thursday. Now, obviously, all throughout the week, you can be talking to them and discussing things with them. But on Thursday, what we're going to do is if any child makes a decision, and Pastor Eastman, a couple weeks ago, if you were here, if you hadn't heard him done it in VBS, or if you didn't hear him preach, he is so clear. He presents the gospel very clearly, and then he asks them to make a decision. And it's very clear what decision they would want to make, and then how they indicate that they made a decision. So Thursday in Bible, this is happening. If you have one of your crew members that indicate that they made a decision for Christ, we want you to circle their name on your crew sheet. That day you'll have a fresh crew list, and you're just going to circle. So if Adam raises his hand and says, yes, I did that today, Pastor Eastman, we want you to take that sheet, circle Adam's name. Then on your way out of Bible that day, you're going to take that crew sheet and you're going to hand it to one of Miss Aaron's awesome Bible helpers, and Mrs. Levitt is going to collect that at the end of each rotation that day. Okay, so if you have a kid make a decision, what are you going to do? Circle their name. What are you going to do with that sheet? Give it to Miss Aaron or give it to one of her helpers. The reason we're doing that, number one, we want to know, and the parents want to know. Remember we talked about those parents who are home thinking, wow, they're having a great time. Sure wonder what happened today. So what will happen with that sheet? Mrs. Levitt has already prepared with Pastor Eastman a letter that explains, hey, here's what happened. Here's the decision that your child made today. Here are a little bit more information about any questions you have. Here's who you can contact. Also, hey, we're doing baptisms this summer. If your child wants to go ahead and follow and be baptized, here's when that date is. They are also going to get a Notes from Jesus book. So we have those books prepared. What will happen is that letter, Mrs. Levitt will go out there, that name that you circled, she'll put a label on an envelope with that letter. She will tuck it into a Bible book. When you get to your spot in the sanctuary, by your crew bag will be however many books you need for however many kids made a decision. It'll have their name on it. Your job at that point when they go home that day, if Adam has his book with his label, you hand him the book and the letter. And however many you have, you just hand out to those kids. Does that make sense? Yes, ma'am.
That all sounded great. The Bibles, I think we usually do that day too.
Yes.
So that may affect the crew leaders, because I think we give them the Bibles in Bible.
During the time, right? During Bible. So we've also had some amazing contributions for the books themselves. People have donated the books. And then we've also had a big donation come in for more Bibles. So if you identify any kid that doesn't have a Bible, now they are the awesome adventure Bibles that we have here. So we're not talking kids that, I don't have that Bible, but I have these other 4. It really is, if they don't have a Bible of their own that they can read and look at God's Word, then you identify them as a crew leader, and then you let Miss Aaron and her crew know, and they will be stacked up in the back of the room, and they will help hand them out on that Thursday. Okay? And then we've also, yes, in the backpack, which by that point, hopefully the strings have not broken. So any questions about Thursday? That's kind of a big deal, a lot there. All right. So then did I miss the station? Oh, Imagination Station. So 208, Praisey and Mrs. Davis are going to be helping with that this year. So that is where they do their Sciencey Fun Gizmo. They usually have a question. Remember, you do a survey question, so help your kids with those. If you are not good with crafts, if you are not good with things, that is okay. Ask one of your 4th or 5th graders who probably loves it and would get a kick out of helping their crew leader or other crew members. So you're going to do that Sciencey Fun Gizmo every day. You're also going to get a baggie, and that little Ziploc baggie has a Try This at Home sticker for those parents, remember, that are at home wondering what'd you do all day. The gizmo, when you're done with it in Imagination Station, you're going to put the gizmo in the baggie, write the kid's name on it with that Sharpie that's in your backpack, and zip it up and put it in the backpack. When they go home every day, they're going to get their gizmo. So that gizmo goes home with them. It also has on the sticker, hey, here's what we did with this. Here's why you're getting this piece of what may look like trash. This is very good to help illustrate our Bible point. All right, so that's going to go home with them along with announcement every day. Bible buddies, when do they go home? Friday. All right. We are close to landing the plane. So then we come back to closing. We already went over pickup. Does anybody have any questions about parent pickup?